morning. Morning. Now, I told you before we went to the break that a very good friend of the show is back, Mr. Michael Stewart. And Mr. Stewart is one of those persons that he speaks to you at any level. There's no masking with him, there's no arrogance with him. And it's really refreshing to have such a mentor, such a personal coach in our midst. So let me take the time to welcome you once again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Thank you so much for coming.
This is a more comfortable role, though.
Yeah.
The one before was
a bit ticklish. Yeah.
Well, because I like to talk topics, and the last one, it was focused on me. So this one I'm okay with.
But it's good at least once in a while to be able to speak.
It was a nice
on
experience.
you.
It was a nice experience.
Yeah. I like that for the persons coming to sit. Let's get to know you, the person.
Yes.
I mean, the accolades are there, the awards are there, and everything, but sometimes we need to just know you. Yeah?
Appreciate it.
Yes. So today is one of those topics. Why do people lie in relationships? Where do we start? You're the expert. Let's go. I will interject at some point
As we go along.
Yeah.
Well, lie, it's such a strange thing is that we categorize lies.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody of high office is lying or somebody who is revered, we call that a white lie. If it is in the court, you call that perjury, I guess you call that there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. If it is somebody who might be in politics, you might call it falsehood. You give it different ways of dealing it. But when it comes to our spouses, we call that a lie, outright lie.
Mm-hmm.
But every other area, we give it different categories. So it doesn't have the feeling. But the feeling in the relationship gives it the jagged harshness of it, that what somebody is doing is reprehensible. The other says, well, it's bad, but it's not that bad.
Right.
You see? Fib, some people will call it, etc. But in relationships, lying always takes place. I don't know if anybody who has ever come up to me and said, we've never lied in our relationship. Even if you don't tell the lie, sometimes we live the lie.
Mm-hmm.
We give one impression of how we are operating in the relationship, but the reality may not be so. So there's this lie that takes down. And the psychologists studied it as to why people lie. And so coming out of that, I want to propose some of those things that the psychologists developed and said. And one of the things that they said why people lie happens to be the reaction of your spouse to the truth. If the reaction of the spouse to the truth is negative, hostile, and angry, your spouse may save themselves that issue by going for a lie instead, because you may get a different reaction. So that tells us that even in relationship, we should try as much as possible to temper the way how we manage the information that we get, that we don't fly off the top. We listen to how we also tell lies in that whole aspect of the truth versus the lie. Tell me the truth. I prefer you tell me the truth than to lie for me. And when you do hear the truth, the way the person carries on, it tells the other person who told the truth before, next time I will lie because I didn't like the way how they carried on. So it is the reaction. As parents, we tell our children, listen, come clean, tell me the truth and I wouldn't punish you. Just tell me the truth. And then as parents, I have done it. Mm-hmm. When I did hear the truth, I wanted to punish. because I felt it was punishable. But I already gave my word. And we do that also in relationship, where the truth is too shocking to really let it pass just so.
Yeah.
You see?
And is lying used as a shield?
Lying, they said, okay, yes, it is a shield. If, for example, that you don't want to appear bad, let's say that the person has done something wrong in the past and they are repeating that wrong, but they want to appear as recovered, healed, restored, but now I've done it again, whether it is drinking, infidelity, or whatever it is, I've been caught again. But I don't want to look so bad. So I'm going to shield that persona with a lie.
Wow. I love the way that you touched on that, because the role of communication, and this word communication has been buzzing about for so many days this week. In my experiences this week, I have heard the word communication so many times. But the discussion is the lack thereof. What role does this play in lying in a relationship?
Well, if the communication is dysfunctional, you have a poor communication, the way how we connect. There are some people that as soon as they get into a conversation, they get angry easily. They're easily triggered. And there are some people very reticent, withdrawn, avoiding. So that breakdown in communication doesn't allow the free flow for us to be authentic and open with each other. When that happens, lie has to take the place because we are not authentic with ourselves. We need a kind of atmosphere that we can be able to come and say, listen, I messed up and I'm really sorry. And the person said, that really hurt me. It is hard for me to forgive, but give me some time. But those kind of conversations, we weren't taught in our early days. We've taught as long as you vex, let the emotions fly and let the relationship run upon the results of that emotional outburst.
Very true.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of temperance, training, and discipline, and appreciation for each other to know that in the best of relationships, your partner will hurt you at least once. At least once. Of course, they're going to hurt you more than once. But we must know that the underlying effect of that is the person may have hurt us, but has the love been destroyed or extinguished? And most times the love hasn't been extinguished. We are humans and we will transgress and trespass against each other.
Yeah. And the foundation, and the foundation. Yeah, I forgot my D just a while ago. I said "and" instead of "and." So to my English teachers, please do not persecute me. I forgot the D. Oh my gosh. Yes, as I was saying, in terms of trust, you mentioned as a parent, there's that line that we walk and we put it to our kids that, okay, tell me the truth and I would not punish you. And your child does what you request. They do what you ask of them. There are the parents that still punish after the truth has been told. What does that do to the relationship?
It destroys the relationship of trust because the child would not want to divulge any more information concerning that. So, I know of somebody who said that they went and told their parent that they have a boyfriend and they were going to school. They thought that they should come out plain. All it is that they like this person. But the way the mother behaved and reacted and punished because of it, that's not what I sent you to school for. I sent you to learn books and so on, and beat the child. The person said, since from a child, I've never shared something private with my mother again. So it does break down. And that's why we need to keep those lines open. Sometimes we need to just call a parliamentary sitting where people can say as they like without having to suffer the consequences of what they say when they say it with parliamentary language. And you could have that in your home. You could have that in your relationship. That this session, we're sitting down and we're coming clean with each other and we're saying the things. There's no reprehension after this session. There's no fallout that we're going to have, but we just want it to be clean. But we have to keep our word. That we're not going to throw it back in the person's face when we do hear the truth.
That's the thing. Are we broken as adults and we just don't look into ourselves and admit?
Well, yes, we are all broken people. Who sang the song, Two Less Broken People in the World? There's a song, yeah. So we are definitely broken people, and we have to recognize that the person is not the one only who's broken, but I am also broken. And so we have to help the brokenness in each other to be able to fit and be able to get along with each other. And not one is righteous and the other one is not. Because sometimes we come across as though I would have never done what you did. And to think that you could do it hurts me so much. But you may not have done it to this person, but have you done it to somebody else? Have you done something also that hurt somebody else? And we all will do something to hurt somebody else. So we should not come across as though we are so pristine. You see? Because we are broken people.
Yeah, and another thing is doing that that judgment. There's that judgment vibe that we give sometimes as human beings, and the discussion takes a turn. It either does not happen or it takes a turn for the worst. And what do we how do we navigate around that in terms of better communication? Because you just said, you take the pristine route and say, well, I would have never done this to you. And then there's that, the wall comes up there.
Yes.
So the future discussions may or may not happen. And if they do, it's like a whirlwind of chaos and emotion.
In fact, when you have the righteous look, you are now influencing the other person to lie to come up to your righteousness. Because if they have to admit how wrong they have been, then that means that you continue to rise in righteousness and I keep going down.
Right.
So I'm now going to lie to get up there, so I'm good also.
That's the thing. We're going to wrap in a few seconds. But before we do that, let's touch on lying in marriage. So we're going to touch there briefly. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation along those lines, because I know that's what you guys are waiting for. I know that's what you want to hear. Lying and marriage. Where do we go? Where do we start with that?
Well, lying in marriage and lying outside of the marriage, lies.
Lies, all the same.
That's right. So it doesn't matter. Because who you are is what you bring into the marriage. So it doesn't make sense that in the marriage, I shouldn't lie. It is that I should not lie.
And
Full stop.
And you said it so well. We're going to take a break and we're going to be right back with more from Michael Stewart. Before we do that, though, our trivia question for today is a very interesting one. The THTI was established. Before it was, what was the structure in Mount St. George used for? So let me say that again. Before the THTI Tobago campus was established, what was the structure in Mount St. George used for? We're going to be right back with more Brunch, A Taste of Tobago. See you guys soon.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Wait, I don't even have suit and thing for this wedding. Why getting them things?
Well, the port right over there.
Alright, thanks.
The Port Mall, where the varieties are large from your favorite stores, from restaurants to salons and from clothing stores to jewelry stores, located at Sanctus Hill, Scarborough, Tobago. Telephone number is 868-334-6589.
Wow. I didn't expect to see you here. Look good.
Thanks. It's all because of you and Port Mall. But here now I'm going to out with it. You want to join me?
Yeah, that's okay.
Alright.
Beat the rush and come on down to the Port Mall.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Back with Brunch, a taste of Tobago. I am absolutely loving this discussion, and I'm absolutely loving the fact that I wore red, white, and black today. I don't know about you, but I'm just loving the vibe right now. So we are back with Mr. Michael Stewart. Before we went to the break, we were speaking on lying and marriage. Yeah. And you started with the fact that a lie is just that.
A lie is a lie.
How you sugarcoat.
Yes, yes. So we can't qualify the lie and say that he had a good reason to lie. You know, the Bible says that a man should speak the truth even to his own hurt.
Right.
Which means even if you have to suffer the consequences of it, we should speak the truth. In fact, when the Bible talks about 6 things God hates, lying and a lying tongue. So I think it came up 2 or 3 times in the 6. Yeah, see?
Yeah, so it's kind of popular.
That's right. Yeah, see? So in the relationship, you know, there are times that you don't want to lose your spouse. You don't want the marriage to break up. And you lie in order to keep the marriage going. But you keep the marriage going on a false sense of security and stability. If or when the truth does come out and the lie is exposed, it hurts more to the person because they feel, I have been living a lie. The other person thinks that I've been living a lie for so long when you know the truth. And then the question is, who else knew the truth? Let's say it is infidelity. And the person realized for years that we have been doing this. And you have been doing that. Your friends know. That person would not want to go out with your friends again. They wouldn't want to be seen in public with you because they'll say that I must be looking like a fool because I did not know all of this was going on. So it has its repercussions, even though the person would have told a lie originally to prevent the person leaving. But it could escalate now that the person would want to leave because they were lied to, particularly if it was for a protracted period of time.
Oh, wow. Why are persons fearful of telling the truth to their spouses? Why is there? I know it's vast and there's so many ways this conversation could go.
Yeah.
But if we had to sum up, what would some of the things be? What would some of the reasons be behind that?
There are so many reasons why would somebody lie to their spouse, and some of them we have spoken about to keep the spouse. It could have been also because there are times that, as the psychologist would have said, some people lie because they have met to the end of the relationship anyway.
Right.
So they really don't care. But the lie is because they don't want to give the spouse the ammunition against them. So I would lie so that you wouldn't say that I said this. But really, all of my lying, I really don't care if you found out. And some people will actually bring the evidence that they have been doing something to cause the person to want to leave. So there are so many different reasons. Because we are human beings, we are a complex set of people that some people just lie because they are compulsive liars. There's no justification for the lie. There's no reason to lie. But there are some people that have trained themselves so much that lying is just natural. Yeah. And when we get into relationship with a compulsive liar, my mother used to say that a liar could do you anything. Because a liar is also a thief, a liar is also a murderer, a liar could do almost anything because they'll depend upon the lie to exonerate them.
Yeah, and somebody made a statement recently that when someone is very talkative, they most times are liars. And I found it was so hilarious. But there were some instances that I found, and the liars were persons who chattered, like they chattered so much. So it's like you have to find lies upon lies upon lies, and you have to continue to create that image or that facade. And then someone was like, yeah, when people like to talk plenty, the easiest way to find all the liars. And I find that was so hilarious. I find it was hilarious.
But that may have some truth in it. But I have some friends who talk a lot too, but I don't feel that they are liars.
Okay, well, okay.
So it's not blanket across everybody else.
It's not a blueprint.
It's right.
By any means.
You see?
You know?
But when you meet somebody for the first time and they're chatty, sometimes they are up to something. That is how you tell yourself, this person, I wonder if I could trust this person. I now meet you and then you're just talking. Yeah, you could have some suspicions concerning that. But as I said, some people, one of the clues of the liars is the chatty, but not everybody.
Yeah. It's not a blueprint, or we can't paint everyone with the same brush.
Yes.
You know, but some of the things that I think about, and I've been having these thoughts recently about how much colonialism has shaped our narrative as West Indian people. And the parents, or at least some of the parents of a certain era, would not have had very open conversations with their children. So we come out of that and we don't communicate in the way we should. I recently had, just some thoughts, because I usually thoughts buzz through my head and I have to get up and write it down. That's just the type of person I am. If I don't, I forget. So I have to get up and write it down. And there are certain characteristics that the adults look for in their children. So we're just going to go back to adults and their children for a second. And for me, I had to tell myself as a mom, as a parent, that I would be the parent that I didn't have. And that is what I make mistakes, but I try my best to embody that. I try my best to live that. And so the conversation was not very open with parents of a certain era. And so you have the adults coming out of that, and the communication is nowhere where it needs to be. So we are afraid to talk about even the simplest things and have the simplest discussions. How do you feel about that?
I think there's validity in that we did not have the openness, and probably because we have the Caribbean socialization. If you take a 6-year-old child in the Caribbean to speak and watch how they confidence to express themselves vis-a-vis an American 6-year-old, the American 6-year-old is going to be outspoken, well articulated, etc. But we have really contributed towards our children holding back on their potential to express self and so on, because probably that is a science and a research that we should go into to find out what we need to do to change that. And at the same time, there are some parents concomitantly give too much of a conversation to children that they should not be in. And they allow the children to get into adult conversation that I don't think it is in the interest of that child to be speaking on those topics at that age.
Right.
So we now see children 12 years old talking about they're engaging in sex, and 13-year-old and so on, because they access to the device and so on, open them up to such a thing that they are now making the mistakes we made older. They are making it younger. And the repercussions are dire in their case, because we didn't have all of these STDs, etc., in those days. But now the mistakes that they could make could have some long-lasting impact upon them, psychologically and physically, because of their age.
So before we wrap, what is the road we should take for better communication?
I think that it is so multifaceted that we can do training programs, discussion, how do parents communicate with children, especially in today's era.
Right.
And we can talk about how we can communicate in relationships, and that's what we do in our counseling sessions at my office. We help parents and couples learning how to be able to better communicate without the hostility, without having to let the emotion take care of you, but rather using it in wisdom and listening to somebody say something that you don't agree with, and just let them finish it. And when they are finished, you now respond to what they have said and not to the way how you feel by what they said. You see, but it really takes a lot of training and a whole re-socialization of the community for us to change that mindset.
Yeah, and well, hopefully the narrative is changing. It may be slow, but at least it's changing. And, on that note, we just want to thank you so much for being a part of Brunch, having this wonderful discussion. You guys should tune in.